So, for a student who wants to learn about democracy, there can be two extreme examples. On one hand, you have India, the world's largest democracy. And then, on the other hand, you have Pakistan, a nation where no prime minister in the history of the Islamic nation has completed a full tenure. And this time, in Pakistan, they are blaming the USA for this.
The Pakistani media outlet Dawn reports that Mr. Imran Khan revealed that the US had sent a threatening message through Pakistan's envoy. Earlier, media reports in Pakistan had mentioned how Mr. Khan, indirectly pointing the finger at the USA, talked about a foreign conspiracy to remove him because, according to him, his trip to Russia made those foreign forces angry. It should be mentioned that not so long ago, when Ukraine was preparing itself to defend itself from Russia, Imran Khan was acting as if he was on top of the world during his visit to Russia. He said, "What a time I have come! So much excitement!" Some in Pakistan even celebrated this timing. But Imran Khan's excitement turned out to be very short-lived, as for him, things have gone downhill very fast. Today, Imran Khan is repeatedly blaming the USA for his troubles. According to Bloomberg, reacting to this situation, the US State Department spokesman Ned Price had earlier said there was no truth to the allegations. On the other hand, Mr. Khan seems to be claiming that he is being punished for following an independent foreign policy for his nation. Now, to start with, Mr. Khan, with the massive influence that your nation has had from China, which your government has hardly objected to, your idea to have an independent foreign policy for Pakistan was flawed or pretty twisted from the very beginning. Second, even your recent upswing in your country's relationship with Russia has a China factor in it. Why not accept that? Your fellow countryman, Shahbaz Sharif, has already made it clear what he thinks of Pakistan's situation. You may have not liked his "beggars can't be choosers" remark, but ask yourself, those words may be harsh, but is there no truth in those words? Although nobody wants to be a beggar, who put Pakistan in this terrible situation in the first place? It clearly seems that the biggest contributor to this situation is the very ideology that has dominated Pakistan since the nation was created. Yes, it seems to be the same ideology that punishes Pakistani school principals accused of paying insufficient attention to Quran teaching. Yes, the Pakistani ideology that accepted the aid of millions of dollars from India when it was struck by earthquake in 2005, but then in 2008 sent terrorists to India to kill innocent Indian civilians, including Muslims. Yes, isn't it the same ideology that pretends to fight against Islamophobia globally, but then conducts a large-scale rally against Shia Muslims in Karachi, in which thousands of people openly chant anti-Shia slogans, creating fear among the followers of Shiite Islam in Pakistan, who make up nearly 15 to 20% of the country's overall population? Isn't it the same Pakistani ideology that causes terror in the Islamic nation of Iran, which frustrated the then Deputy Foreign Minister of Iran to such an extent that he said, "Enough is enough"? Yes, the same ideology that makes Pakistan act as if it is the well-wisher of the global Muslim community, but then its government officially supports and praises China for its treatment of Muslims in Xinjiang by signing the joint letter that was sent to the United Nations. And of course, it seems to be the same ideology that doesn't allow a non-Muslim to officially become the head of state in Pakistan. After all, what can you expect from a nation whose very foundation seems to be based on revenge and hatred? It's clear that as a nation, Pakistan would have been taken more seriously by the global community if it was at least economically independent and wasn't relying on aid from foreign agencies for its own survival. As far as the Pakistan-China-Russia nexus is concerned, it may be too early to conclude anything decisively, but at least for now, this development in Pakistan seems to have shaken this so-called emerging coalition. Yes, as Shahbaz Sharif said, beggars can't be choosers, and that is why, perhaps for Pakistan, attempts to participate in any international coalition with a sinister plan could easily be a self-made recipe for disaster. After all, any small or weak nation can be used and abused or simply sandwiched between the superpowers in the complex international geopolitical game. See you again.